Hey troops, this is Bob from The Truth You See, and I have three little segments to this video clip. The first is me explaining the law of non-contradiction to a young atheist at the University of North Carolina. You consider yourself agnostic, do you?
Atheist.
You're full-on atheist and stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
You're familiar with the laws of logic?
Laws of logic?
Yep.
I don't think so, no.
Okay, there's a whole bunch of them. The one I'm going to use as an example is called the law of non-contradiction. Either this piece of paper is in my hand or it's not in my hand. Both can't be true.
It's like a null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis.
Exactly. You cross the street, it's either you or the truck. I mean, you look both ways. We use the law of non-contradiction all the time, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So cool. You got that so far?
Sure, yeah.
All right. So check this out. If the universe existed or didn't exist, the law of non-contradiction exists.
Because if you can't prove that it's... Hold on.
Okay, I'll say it one more time. If the universe existed or didn't exist, which is the law of non-contradiction, either the universe exists or it doesn't exist,
okay,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, and we talk about the Big Bang, so we talk about the idea that there was a beginning to the universe. Okay, so there was a time when it didn't exist.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is the law of non-contradiction pre-exists all known existence from our perspective. So man didn't make up the law of non-contradiction. It pre-exists and has always existed. It's an eternal intellectual piece of property that is all existing.
It's logic. You're talking about logic. I mean, of course.
But where did logic come from? The question
logic,
then is...
What do you mean logic? Where does logic come from? Logic comes from the brain. It's
No, but man couldn't make it up.
Why not?
Man can't make it up.
Why not? We are smart. I am proud to be human. It is awesome. We're the best species. Of course we could have done it.
I think we can realize it, but we didn't make it.
Yeah, exactly. I think she's totally hit it. We can experience it and discover it, but it's pre-existing.
Like the law.
The law of logic is
physics and the world existed before.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. That's it.
Yeah. And laws of physics or natural laws, they could go away with before the beginning of the universe, natural laws like gravity and stuff. They may not exist prior to the universe, so they may be temporal and only to this plane of existence, but the laws of logic are pre-existing. And I could make the same argument with the laws of morals. Morals are pre-existing. If it's always wrong to torture babies, it's always wrong to torture babies, even if there's no babies or humans around to say it's wrong. So these two things are eternal principles, all existing principles, that obviously from my worldview, I say they come from God. I say they're God's intellectual property. They're actually almost maybe even part of who he is. They're part of his existence. From your worldview, if you're only dealing with the five senses, which most atheists do, you cannot account for the law of logic because it's outside. You can't weigh the law of logic. You can't measure it. You can't see it. It exists outside what you're willing to accept as evidence. Does that make sense?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and many atheists this has been a brick wall for the atheistic worldview. In this segment here, you're going to see Dr. Greg Bahnsen, one of the early presuppositional apologists, use this in a bait against Gordon Stein. And you can see it's kind of a showstopper. From a naturalistic worldview, you cannot explain many things.
I heard you mention logical binds and logical self-contradictions in your speech. You did say that?
I used that phrase, yes.
Do you believe there are laws of logic then?
Absolutely.
Are they universal?
They're agreed upon by human beings. They aren't laws that exist out in nature.
Are they simply conventions then?
They're conventions, but they're conventions that are self-verifying.
Are they sociological laws or laws of thought?
They are laws of thought which are interpreted by men and promulgated by men.
Are they material in nature?
How can a law be material?
That's the question I'm going to ask you.
I would say no.
Dr. Stein, you have an opportunity to cross-examine Dr. Bahnsen.
Dr. Bahnsen, would you call God material or immaterial?
Immaterial.
What is something that's immaterial?
Something not extended in space.
Can you give me an example of anything other than God that's immaterial?
Laws of logic.
Can I ask that you hold that down?
It's been 27 years since Dr. Greg Bahnsen used that against his atheistic opponent. And the atheistic community has never rallied a logical response to the fact that they don't know how to account for many things that fall outside their naturalistic worldview. Here, just from a couple weeks ago, Cy Ten Bergengate attempts to have a conversation with P.Z. Myers, the biologist from Minnesota, and you can see that P.Z. Myers right off the bat does not want to even talk about the logical argument. Now these guys are like college professors and are behaving ridiculously. They do not want the truth to be known. Atheism is a foolish worldview.
If you're gonna start the logic again. No, I'm going to ask you actually a different question. Okay. First of all, are you saying it's impossible for God to exist? No. Okay, it's not impossible for God to exist. I'm not going to ask you a question about logic, but I heard you reasoning along with this gentleman. How do you know that your ability to reason is valid?
Okay, so yes.
Because I'm not a slimy mother like you.